over here and it threw me off.
Hey, good afternoon. We switched sides on you guys. I'm Bill Gross, and this is
Patricia
Patricia
Castillo.
Castillo on that side over there. And this is our Wednesday afternoon home buying seminar we do every Wednesday to talk about all things buying a house, buying your first home, upgrading, and how to negotiate the best deal possible, save money on your loans and such. We often bring in friends and guests, and we have one of those today. But let's start with Patricia. Patricia, what is up, girl? What are you doing? How's the market? How's business? What's going on?
Business is good. It's busy.
Mhm.
Rates went up, 6.65. Buyers are still buying. I had a client reach out to me. Last time I spoke to her was in December. We had just touched base here and there. They got out of the market buying last year because it was so competitive. And she said, we're ready to get back in the game again and start looking. So I showed them a condo on Saturday and they were super interested. So I wrote the offer and, negotiated a 43,000 price reduction and opened escrow on Monday.
Wow.
So yeah, so they're very excited. It's a nice condo in Azusa, and that's the area that they wanted to stay in. And that's why we had such a hard time last year finding something that really suited their budget and their liking of the neighborhood. So yeah, so buyers are really coming back, despite the whatever the rates are. It's if they can afford the monthly payment, that's really all that matters right now, and getting out of paying this high rent.
So I wanted to just a quick share on what's happening with the interest rates, and we could talk about. Been an exciting week. Have you been following the rates, Patricia? Have your clients been following the rates at all?
Yeah.
A lot of fun, huh?
Yeah. So we had to get them locked in right away.
So rates have been tracking around 6.25 for a while, and then all of a sudden last week they jumped up to 6.5, and
Right.
then actually on Monday or Tuesday went up to over 7%.
Mm-hmm.
One of the fears people always talk about is, well, rates are going to spin out of control and rates are going to go up to 25%. We'll have hyperinflation like Germany did in the 30s. We're not quite there today. It came back down from 7% to 6.8%. But certainly they're higher than they are. And I think the most important thing for everybody is if you're in the market, get what you want. Shop, lock in when it's time to lock in, clear the conditions, get the paperwork in so your lender can perform. And so we're always excited to have with us, but even more so on a particular day like this where we have to talk about interest rates, have Gustavo Segura, who's one of the key lenders, a partner we work with, and otherwise just a great guy and handsome face for all the girls. So Gustavo, welcome to our call today.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you again. And yes, it was just a crazy roller coaster here the last 3 days because between yesterday and today, we came back down. So we made up that ground that we lost, which it seemed like it was going to be a pretty big hole to dig out of. But, we got out of it pretty quickly.
I'm thinking there are a lot of lenders who promise rates that were locked in that aren't delivering. Are you hearing stories like that?
Yeah. There's lenders right now that they're quoting, they're afraid to lock. They want to wait until that contract is there in order to lock. And even then, some of them are waiting until they have an appraisal back. Right. Because they want to lock it in for maybe 15, 20 days. So they want to shorten out that period. So, the longer the time, of course, the riskier for them. But that's definitely what I'm seeing. And they're charging as well, some heavy points up front, or they're charging to lock it in if it's more than 30 days.
Well, it seems to me a lot of them don't lock in because they really can't lock at the rate they're promising. Like if you're a lender on Tuesday promising 6.5 and the rates were 7,
yeah,
you could tell the buyer all you want they should not lock, but the truth is you can't lock that price. Therefore, you're misleading your customer. And I think that's the key thing is you got to play the cards that are dealt to you. You can't change the cards, and that's the challenge a lot of these lenders are having right now.
Yeah, it is. And, every company, major company, they have these secondary markets that they got to deal with. So they've got other forces that are, keeping some of these policies in place. because if they lock in at 6.6 and the rate goes up, they obviously are losing money there. So definitely a lot of stuff going on here the last couple of days, but it was a good reminder, I think, for consumers to shop around, talk to lenders. Every lender is different. They have different margins. They have different rates, whether, I'm on wholesale, it's very different than retail. So, take a look, get educated on it. And then that way you can, you know what you can do as your next step.
I wanted to comment something on that, off of what Gustavo just said. Gustavo and I were working on a cross qualification for an offer that I had received on the Downey listing that I have.
Well, hold on. Who recommended you to do that?
Yes, you
Teamwork.
did. You did. Teamwork makes the dream work. But I was questioning it myself because I couldn't even get a hold of the lender. And usually the lender will call me, in which case they didn't. So I was reaching out to the lender, and that made me really suspicious that I couldn't even get in touch with them on the phone. So come to find out that, this is why the pre-qualification or pre-approval is so important. And along with that, getting the DU summary. And I was kept requesting that from the selling agent, and she, wouldn't provide it. And so Gustavo talked to the clients. Nobody ever sat down with them to let them know what their payment was going to be. They were shocked to find out what the payment was going to be, had their offer been accepted, and they weren't even qualified. I mean, when I was looking at their...
imagine that. So they had the lender that they were going to work with, but they didn't know what the payment would be, and they were shocked.
And looking at their bank statements and considering that they're getting an FHA loan, putting down 3.5%, and I'm factoring in their closing costs and looking at the money they have in the account. I mean, they didn't even have money left over to pay for the appraisal, which is an upfront cost, home inspection. Right there, you're at least looking at $1,000 up front. And so, and there was gift money coming from one of the adult kids. And I mean, it was really a family team effort. They were really pulling in from, the husband and wife and the daughter, and it wasn't going to work. And we really tried, right, Gustavo? Because I could see this was like first time buyer scenario. And I really wanted them to have a good opportunity to get into this home for this family, because they were also asked to leave. So they were urgently looking for a property, but their agent didn't do the due diligence and making sure that they can even afford the payment. And so that is the bottom line right there. If you can't afford the payment, you shouldn't be out shopping homes, and most definitely not submitting offers if you're not even qualified. And so come to find out, Gustavo did the entire qualification process and they just didn't make it. So
well, better to find out now. Better find out now than later, right? When they have money on the line and spending money on inspections and appraisals.
Yeah, that's why we keep driving home this message: is make sure the buyers are pre-qualified and you have a solid pre-approval that's been verified.
Yeah. And I think people think that it's just, us or the agent just trying to get a really super qualified borrower, and we don't want to waste our time and all that kind of stuff. But it really is to benefit them, to make sure that you understand what that payment is going to be. There's no payment shock there. You know about those prepaids, about the property taxes. We know that, you can get a nice assessment of what's going to happen, and the down payment, and not just the down payment, but the closing costs. So, going through that exercise in the beginning is very useful for them, and of course for us as well, so that we know that, we can take this person to the next level, and we don't have to do, what we did, which is you fall out of escrow, you don't start escrow, you have an offer that's not even an offer. So it's really key for home buyers to really know their budget and their finances there.
I'm curious, what did the buyers think was going to happen? Like at some point, in this case, they wrote an offer promising to buy a house for a lot of money and writing a deposit they didn't have. Just curious, what did they think was going to happen if the offer got accepted?
Yeah, so what I got from it was that they were going to put down pretty much all of their money down, and then that was going to be it. There was going to be no additional cost to that down payment. And, the payment was going to be what, I guess they must have had an initial conversation with the agent of, hey, I'm willing to pay this much. And, I want a house and we got to hurry and all this. And I think there's a lot of things there that just got dropped off. And when I finally had that full assessment, and I knew by the time I got on the call, I knew this wasn't going to move forward. I mean, we're talking about a $1,300 payment difference from rent to the mortgage with taxes and everything. And they had already expressed to me their range. But I wanted to go through the exercise with them because I wanted to make sure that they understood for the next time the questions that they need to ask, what we need to go through, and what they need to understand in order to make sure that they can get that house and go through that process a little bit more, with the understanding of what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's so important, and I know everybody tells every agent tells me how much they like their lender because the lender comes to their office and brings them donuts or their personal friends or family members. Oh, that's nice, but man, you get a buyer in a contract that they can't afford. And they're starting to spend money, and it's frustrating, and there's legal implications. It really could be a mess for a lot of people. So, really appreciate you helping us out with that, Gustavo, as always.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I think one of the conditions that buyers are not aware of, and this came out this last week, is that so we have the parents that are purchasing the property, they're on the contract along with one of their daughters. And it was the idea was it was just going to be the three of them. Now, the daughter disclosed that she just got married. So if you're getting an FHA loan and you're on title, you have to disclose your spouse's debt, even though you're not using their income. And so that just threw the ratios off as well. Right, Gustavo? I mean,
correct.
We can't have extra debt on there without including the income to offset that.
Right. Yeah. And it was just, sitting down, asking some information, asking them a little bit more, digging deep into it so that I can get a full picture of their scenario when these things come out. And it's, those next follow-up questions about, well, we need to take a look at liability. And then at that point you start to structure it. And I looked at many different ways to help them. Even with CalHFA down payment assistance programs, but there's guidelines, and we just couldn't hit those guidelines. So it was unfortunate, and it was on their side. I put myself in their place. It was also a bad experience. They got taken down a path that shouldn't have gone down all the way down to an offer.
Yeah, and that's why we do this program, is to encourage people looking to buy a house. Step one, get with your lender. And if you have a great lender, we're glad to meet with them and work as a team. It's important that the lender and realtor work with a team. And if you don't have one, Gustavo's fantastic. We really appreciate working with him. He's a great service to our customers, and we want to introduce him to you as well. We're not connected. He's not paying for this. He's not paying me anything. Are you, Gustavo? I'm not getting anything for you, am I?
No check in the mail.
You get $5 or something, maybe a little something, a little. No, nothing.
Free coffee.
Yeah. No, nothing. Just, you know what? He makes Patricia happy. That's all I really need.
Just great compliments. Good job, guys.
Well, we're running a business here, and we can't run a business with unhappy customers. And you helped us in this case. At least, the other problem Patricia said was the other lender who wasn't returning phone calls. You can't very well even decline the offer if you don't know how bad it is. And so really, in some regards, you're helping our seller get rid of an offer they can't do in a proper way, in a respectful way. Right. But we have to clear the slate in order to move forward. So, well, good news. So what else is on your mind, Gustavo? I know you want to talk a little bit about some particular program and some credits and such. What do you have to share with us today?
Well, you hear a lot about the CalHFA programs. They come back, they're popular, the down payment assistance programs, right? But I think a lot of the newsworthy headlines are that there's, free money out there. But there's guidelines, there's limitations on income, there's the rate's going to be a little bit higher. So, when you're looking at CalHFA, they're great programs to help out someone that doesn't have the down payment. It's really beneficial for them to get into that first home and then start building equity from there, right? But there are guidelines that you need to meet with your lender and talk about, because you're going to have minimum FICO scores. Traditionally, it's about 660 plus. You have income guidelines if you're going for the forgivable equity program, depending on the county. And that could be anywhere from $68,000 to $80,000 per county, somewhere around there. So they're low. So we need to make sure that, you're below that. If you're going with the down payment assistance programs, those are a little bit higher. Those are much better. Like in LA, it's about $188,000, I believe, for the applicants. So it's a lot better. But then you have other requirements on there, other guidelines that are going to maybe, prevent you from getting that. One of the things too is the rates are higher. So on those down payment assistance programs, today's rate, I believe it was a 6.625 for an FHA with a down payment assistance program. So a traditional FHA program, government program, right now rates are around the 5.5, 5.375. So you can see it's about a % difference. And that's really where, they make up the difference, right? So there is no free money, but it's a great opportunity to help get into a home with their down payment assistance. So, keep that in mind as you talk to your lenders, make sure that they go over all the guidelines, all the pros and benefits of it. And then of course, then maybe the negative side of it, which is a higher payment because of the higher rate, but yet you're getting the down payment. So make sure you have a good initial meeting.
You're muted, Bill.
No.
That was the best thing I've ever said. I'm sorry I had that muted. I forgot what I said, so it's lost forever. No, what I was going to say is, once again, the solution is plan ahead.
Yes.
Work together, plan ahead. And I think the key to success in everything in life is being part of a team and working together, supporting each other, helping each other, and preparation. If you do the work ahead of time, then you'll get the results. And so those government programs can sound great, and they do fit for some people, not everybody. So find out, call us, call me, or Patricia, or Gustavo directly, and we'd love to help you and see if we can help you save a lot of money and get the dream house finance that you want.
Yeah.
Cool. So how was your open house? What's the follow-up to the popcorn, Patricia? Did we sell the popcorn house, or we have more popcorn?
No, that's the house that we were just talking about as far as the offer.
Oh, you're in escrow now.
No, that's the offer that didn't go through.
Okay.
And we had another offer that just didn't work out either.
Okay.
So we're in negotiations right now. I have some private showings this week, and we're going to see where it goes. I did have an agent reach out to me today, and I just wanted to share this with everybody that agents are being, very creative right now to get these properties sold. So for example, this agent called me. She has a first-time buyer, and she said, full transparency, my client is approved for FHA. She's approved for this property as far as a price, but she has no money for closing costs. I mean, she has some money on reserves, but she was basically asking me if we would credit back closing costs, and that would help to structure the offer. So, we're talking about some numbers right now. I was talking to Gustavo earlier about getting some pricing for that. So seeing what would work best as far as maybe an interest rate, help with an interest rate buy down or closing costs. And, I just want to tell buyers right now, it's still a good time to buy. You can structure your offer. This is a really great opportunity to get your offer accepted and, talk to the listing agent, and, both agents are going to come together to put their heads together so that they can get the property sold. And so that's what, that's where we're at right now. I'll probably do another open house this weekend, but it just depends. If I get any offers in within the next 48 hours, then probably not.
You're hoping not to, but if you do, you can have popcorn again or not?
That's to be determined.
I missed out on the popcorn last time. Not that I'm focused on food or anything, but
Right.
So really, what you're saying about that offer, though, is that there are buyers who can make an aggressive offer, and as part of that, perhaps get concessions from the seller to lower the down payment requirement and or lower the monthly payment. And again, The key is plan ahead with your lender and your buyer's agent and get them talking to the listing agent and structure something. But that's where a year ago, we're too busy moving too fast for those kinds of deals.
Right.
And many agents who came into business in the last few years don't know how to do that. But this is what we do. This is what the real business looks like. It's getting the right package for the right buyer. Sometimes they need a higher rate, but lower closing costs, and then a lower interest rate as a result, because the seller's going to pay for some of it. So there's different ways to structure deals. Well, good. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, you can also offer more as far as over the list price to take into consideration what you're going to be asking for as a credit. So it's, it's something that we can factor in.
Very good. I see we have a couple of visitors here. Annabelle, I see, George Abraham, what's up?
Hi.
You have questions you want to jump in with, or you just want to say hi, or you're just checking us out?
I am checking you guys out.
Annabelle
Wanted to say
Pacheco
hello.
is married to the
Wanted to say
famous
hello.
boxing promoter Jesse Rodriguez.
Hey, listen, I agree with what Patricia is saying. 100%. There's a lot, sellers are motivated and are willing to negotiate with buyers. I think I just got my entire career like the best price credit or reduction, not a price reduction, we got a credit of $40,000. I've never, in my career, have I been able to negotiate a $40,000 credit, and it's happening right now. Not only that, I got a $40,000 credit, and I asked. I know this isn't for buyers, but for us agents, I was able to get an increase in our commission, in our like my side of the commission, and they, he gave me a little bit of resistance, but when I kind of just demonstrated like I'm giving your seller an incredible offer, I think he can afford 0.5% more. And you know what? He's like, you know what? You're right. You're going to get it. No problem. I think it's just, great opportunity right now for buyers and sellers, both.
And agents.
Yeah. And agents.
To structure deals.
Absolutely.
Well,
So
great.
just wanted to.
Well, thanks for checking in, Annabelle. Always nice to hear from you in between
Thank
your road
you.
travels and such. Say hi to your team. And
Thank you.
George Abraham, I see you on the call. You have a question for us? Or want to say hi?
Hey, Bill, hey everybody, thanks for having this. I had referred someone to be a part of this. They weren't able to. Last minute something came up, but it was. I had referred someone to be a part of this, and then I wanted to join just to support them because
Great.
respectively, they really get. They want
Great.
home buying process. So yeah, that's why I'm here today.
So George is a new member of my team, and Patricia's on our team as well, and Gustavo is our preferred lender. So and George. We try to get our team members, we have buyers, to get them to come on the call to learn, so we can share the information, work together, and help each other, and build a business together, but as well as help our customers. So there's a Gregory Dixon. I don't know if that's who you're talking about. Kind of accumulate. This has been Facebook watching us as well. Okay, any other questions, input, subject matter? Gustavo, thanks for coming in. So we want to get a hold of you, Gustavo, to talk about formulating a program, getting pre-approved, getting a great rate, locking it in while they shop. How would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can visit online at senderohomeloans.com, and that's SENDERO, home loans. And my cell phone number is the best way. That 714 number right there. Yep. Best number. You guys can text me. I work extended hours and also on the weekends. So I know the importance of those deals over the weekend. So definitely reach out, and love to help anybody out.
Fantastic. Well, look, appreciate your support as always.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Patricia, we don't know if you're going to have any popcorn this weekend, but odds are you're still selling houses, you're still helping people. So when did you help? How would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so best way to reach me is my cell phone, 323-365-9909.
Okay, and this is your website as well, patriciacastillo.exprealty.com, with a pretty picture on the front, and all kinds of information about houses, particularly in Downey, where she's an expert.
Right.
Fantastic. Appreciate you guys being on the call today. We do this every Wednesday at 5 p.m. I won't be on next Wednesday, Jewish holiday. So Patricia's flying solo, so be nice to her. I will see you guys. I'm available all week. If not, I won't see you next Wednesday. I'll see you the Wednesday after that. We do it every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Local time. Contact me at Patricia. Sign up so you can come on local, ask questions, participate. It's meant to be participative. If you have questions, put it in the chat box, and we'll get back to that. If you like it, or subscribe it. We'd love to get your support there. Otherwise, have a fantastic week, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.